You couldn't imagine how happy I am that we are all here. And I'm Hanna Dovbakh from Eurasian Harm Reduction Association. I'm so grateful to all the partners who helped us to have you all here, and to you that you take your precious time. First, about the interpretation, and I will repeat it into languages. Unfortunately, I don't know what is happening with electricity right now in places where our Ukrainian interpreters are living, but they could not connect, unfortunately. Yeah, that's why, as for just right now, we don't have Ukrainian translation, but I hope that they will come a bit later, and then we will switch on them immediately. I'm sorry for this. Я ще раз перепрошую у українських учасників, наші українські перекладачі чомусь не підключилися. Ми намагаємось до них додзвонитися, але ви знаєте, ви самі живете в Україні, ви розумієте, що може бути все, що завгодно, зазвичай вони підключаються. Тому я дуже-дуже перепрошую, зараз можна попробувати слухати, на жаль, російською або польською, як вам зручніше, і як тільки буде український переклад, я вам повідомлю. Ми зробили все, що можливо, і протягом всієї конференції буде український переклад. Також сподіваюся, що це буде найбільша наша проблема. Нехай все буде добре дома. And for those who are listening us in Polish or Russian or back then in Ukrainian, you could switch the channel and it does work. Show me that it works. The translation goes. Tak? Good. So from logistic, you know that the toilets are there and the coffee are there. One more time, our absolutely marvelous hosts who have us here, they ask to be careful with the drinks and coffee and being there. With the smoking facilities, it's around the corner. You could go out from this door or the next door there. Something else for the housekeeping? Huh? Yeah, and this is the place, we have security for the Wi-Fi. We don't have Wi-Fi, but taking pictures in the meeting is okay, and hopefully everybody of you okay of us taking pictures of you. So we are taking picture of each other to remember and to know each other. And technically, you have agenda, and in agenda you have this QR code. We will show presentations in English, but if you need presentations, we have translated all the presentations which received a bit in advance into Russian, so if it's more familiar to you to read presentations in Russian, you could see them in the same folder. And after the meeting, when we will have all the presentations in our computer, then we will translate it into Ukrainian and Polish. So it will be available for you to use in your work afterwards in languages. So I guess we will finish with the introduction. We don't have any other housekeeping. The only housekeeping announcement that we will be here for the whole day till 5 o'clock. That's like long day, and I sincerely hope that you will use this opportunity to take a microphone. We could not speak without microphone, and ask your questions, because that's actually the peer meeting for policemen. And you could ask your colleagues from other countries, policemen and judges. You could ask your questions to your colleagues from other countries. We will have a judge forum after the lunch, so our colleagues from the group of judges who are here with us, they will leave us after lunch. So if you want to meet people from the judge system from your countries, you need to do this during the lunch, and then they will leave us and they will have their own judge forum separately in other premises. And all together we are working not only today, but the next 3 days in the main building in the culture, in Palace of Culture, in the center of Warsaw. And today, after the very intense day of the meeting, we will explain all the logistic notes there. So, and now I'm giving floor to our marvelous host, to Krzysztof Łaszkiewicz.
Łaszkiewicz.
Yeah, I was good.
Thank you very much, Hania, Haniusha, for fantastic introduction to this event. Good morning, everyone. I am Krzysztof Łaszkiewicz, rank colonel. I am police officer. My current position is human rights advisor to the commander-in-chief of the Polish police. I am a police officer working here in National Police Headquarters. I am personal advisor to the commander-in-chief of the Polish police. And it's very nice to see you in Warsaw, in National Police Headquarters. My pleasure, pleasure of my boss, pleasure of Magda and the other organizers. What is your energy today? Good? Okay, me too, but I woke up very, very early today because I had to prepare many sandwiches and coffee for you. Sorry, it was more or less 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. Okay, so, and I prepared a special speech for you last night, special text, because I'm not responsible for drug policy in police service, so I had to read more and more about this event. Thanks to Magda and thanks to the other organizers. Okay, so I am very happy that the Polish police are just joining the global discussion on harm reduction in the area of drug policy. The symbol of this is this conference, which is being held at the headquarters of the Polish police here. Today I'm here in the role of host rather than subject matter expert. I want to tell you that I am not a detective. I am not as a police officer. I am not involved in fighting organized drug crime. I am rather professional police human rights defender. This means that I have stronger social glasses, thanks to which I can better see the connection between drug issue and human rights. The connection between the criminalization, liberalization, decriminalization of certain behaviors and the victims of the organized drug market. Simply put, addicts, addicted people. Why addicts? Why addicts? Because, in my opinion, national and international policies have failed to defeat, to combat drug producers, drug traffickers, organized crime group. The policy is also ineffective in prevention project. This is the reason why different countries around the world should give a helping hand to addicts in different ways. A hand is in the systemic sense and as an individual sense as well. We are all aware that we have met today in a warm conference room. Coffee and sandwiches are waiting for us. But at the same moment, more tons of drugs are being produced. But at the same moment, someone dies of an overdose or addiction-related disease. Someone uses a used needle and syringe, and someone else can use a sterile injection point. Someone is arrested by the police for a small amount of a drug, and someone else legally uses a drug in the some amount in a coffee shop. In my opinion, and probably not only my opinion, humanity is a universal concept. Dignity is a universal concept. People as human beings should have the same rights regardless of where they live. So, I wish you fruitful discussion and interesting recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krzysztof, and thank you for having us and organizing it with us. It was not easy. We are not the easiest group, actually. I guess the hardest, but thank you very much. And from our host, I also want to invite the very honorable people from the Polish law enforcement system. And first of all, Deputy Prosecutor General of Poland, Jacek Bilewicz, to speak to us with the introduction.
Dear Chair, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me. On the behalf of the Prosecutor General, Mr. Adam Bodnar, I would like to sincerely thank for the invitation to today's conference, which is primarily dedicated to the topic of harm reduction. Considering the tasks of the Prosecutor's Office, it is important to highlight the fact that primary responsibility is the prosecution of crimes, including drug crimes. Thereof, at the outset, I would like to briefly present the tasks carried out by the Prosecutor's Office, primarily in the cooperation with other institutions, and discuss the current trends in drug-related crime in Poland. However, in order not to deviate from the main topic of our meeting, I will later present the few remarks concerning the possibility of discontinuing proceedings in cases where offenders possess small amount of drugs for personal use, as well as application of alternatives to criminal sanctions for individuals with addictions. One of the key aspects of the Prosecutor's Office activities is combating drug-related crimes. The monitoring of this type of crime is carried out by the Department for Organized Crime and Corruption, National Prosecutor's Office, which coordinates investigations into the most serious offenses under the Act of July 29, 2005 on counteracting drug addiction, especially those related to the activities of organized criminal groups. As needed, information is also collected regarding the effectiveness and efficiency of investigations, how they are conducted and their outcomes, as well as consultations on individual cases concerning the correctnesses and legal qualifications, actions taken to eliminate illegal substances from circulation, and recovering assets derived from such crimes. In efforts to improve the fight against the trafficking of psychoactive substances, cooperation is carried out with the Chief Sanitary Inspector to assess the risk of specific phenomena and develop legislative solutions to reduce them. This cooperation continues under the agreement signed on November 2018 between the Chief Sanitary Inspector, the National Prosecutor, the Chief Police Commander, the Head of the National Revenue Administration, the Chief Border Guards Commander, and the Chief Pharmaceutical Inspector, aiming to efficiently and effectively execute tasks related to preventing and introduction of substantive drugs and new psychoactive substances into circulation within the territory of the Republic of Poland. As part of this cooperation, information about crimes related to the trafficking of the new psychoactive substances is periodically corrected and forwarded to the Chief Sanitary Inspector. This allows for an assessment of risk associated with the circulation of these substances, which is crucial for mapping specific threats across Poland. The analysis of data, as well as information gathered from ongoing investigations, leads to the following conclusions. A significant increase in drug-related crimes in 2022-2023. This is a result of earlier restrictions related to the COVID-19 pandemic. A relatively stable number of serious smuggling cases detected, ranging from 305 to 327 cases annually. since at least 2022, an increase in the amounts of marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamine, and 4-CMC being seized in cases. This may indicate consumer trends primarily focused on marijuana and synthetic substances. A gradual decline in heroin use. Since 2022, synthetic drugs as legal highs have maintained a constant presence in the market, as evidenced by growing number of such substances being seized. And finally, since 2023, fentanyl has also started appearing. Data from 2022 and 2023 indicate a significant increase in drug trafficking, particularly in new psychoactive substances. The situation in France, Germany, and Scandinavian countries highlights the leading role of international organized criminal groups in drug trafficking and trade. A significant social threat, also noticeable in Poland, is posed by circulation and consumption of fentanyl and opioid substances, which are also found in certain medications. A similar health threat is posed by nitazenes, which are more harmful than fentanyl and have recently begun to appear, albeit sporadically, in Poland as well. But going into harm reduction, I want also present you a possibility of discontinuing proceedings in cases of possession of small quantities of drugs for personal use. It is a prosecutorial tool for harm reduction. In early April 2011, guided by the principle treating rather than punishing, Article 62A was introduced into Polish anti-drug within the following wording. If the referred in Article 62, Section 1 of 3, it means the possession, this article means possession, involves narcotic drugs or psychotropic substances in small quantities intended for offenders' personal use, the proceedings may be discontinued before a decision is made to initiate an investigation or inquiry if a ruling imposing a penalty on the offender would be ineffective due to the circumstances of the act and the degree of its social harm. The application of Article 62A requires the fulfillment of 3 criteria. The possession involves a small quantity of the substance or drug. The substances are intended for the personal use, and the circumstances of the act and the degree of the social harm make imposing a penalty on the offender unnecessary. As indicated by research conducted by the Institute of Justice, offenders who possess drugs for personal use are generally young and relatively young. Nearly all of them are men. Although most offenders have not been previously convicted, nearly 40% have been, including for drug-related offenses. Most offenders are employed in various forms of work, as well as students. Unemployed and non-studying individuals make up 27%. The majority of offenders have not received psychiatric or addiction treatment. The drugs in possession are usually discovered during searches of individuals, most often of those whom police officers deem to be behaving suspiciously. A vehicle or premises search typically follows the discovery of prohibited substances of a person or a suspicious behavior of a driver or passenger. Article 62A most commonly applied in the cases of marijuana possession, over 84% of cases. The quantities involved are permanently small, which can certainly be considered insignificant under Article 62A. More than 60 of cases involve amounts of less than 0.5 grams. The application of Article 62A is most common in cases involving marijuana and amphetamines, while other substances make up less than 2% of cases. The quantities found are generally small, sometimes even trace amounts. In rare cases, a few doses were found. Proceedings in that type of cases are most often, in over 80% of cases, discontinuated only after a decision is made to present charges. This provision is an important directive in criminal policy, outcoming a reluctance or fear of applying regulations regarding minimal social harm in the context of drug-related offenses. It is necessary, at least as a temporary solution, before political decisions are made regarding the prosecution of possession of a small amount of drugs, especially soft ones. Regardless of such a decision, it is possible to initiate a discussion on issuing guidelines by the Prosecutor General to standardize prosecutorial practice regarding application of this regulation. Thank you for your attention, and I think the arguments I presented will encourage you in discussion how to involve the prosecutors in the harm reduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're always speaking about involving police or judges, but with prosecutors, that's the first time in our meetings we really meet this need, and thank you very much. And from our side, I need to say that today is the day of prosecutors in Ukraine, so we could greet Ukrainian prosecutors with their professional day. That's a very important job in the justice system. Thank you. And one more greeting from our hosts we will receive from Mr. Przemysław Kazimierski, advisor to Ministry of Justice. Could we invite you to the floor, Mr. Przemysław?
Good morning. Dear organizers, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Przemysław Kazimierski, and I work in Judgment Enforcement and Probation Department in Ministry of Justice. First and foremost, I would like to sincerely thank the organizers for invitation on behalf of myself and on the plenipotentiary of the Ministry of Justice for the reform of prison health service, who unfortunately couldn't attend this conference. Prosecutor Bilewicz showed us how the situation looks like before the deprivation of liberty, and I will try to complement the whole picture, describing the situation in penitentiary institution when it comes to harm reduction process. The prison healthcare system in Poland fulfills the statutory obligation imposed of the prison service to provide health care to individuals deprived of their liberty. This includes medical service provided in healthcare facilities designated for the incarcerated individuals, as well as the organization of service delivered in non-prison medical facilities to ensure comprehensive health care for persons deprived of liberty. These efforts are both preventive and therapeutic. In accordance with Penal Enforcement Code, prisoners are entitled to free medical services, medication, and sanitary articles. Furthermore, a physician in prison medical facility, upon suspecting that a person deprived of liberty is addicted to alcohol, narcotics, or psychotropic substances, determines the recommendation regarding the placement of the individual in a correctional facility, methods of observing their behavior, and further procedures. The physician also refers to the individual to a psychiatrist for consultation. Psychological care is also provided to prisoners from the moment of their admission to the time of their release from the penitentiary establishment. For the individuals with addiction, the procedures include initial medical examination, psychological assessment, and observation tailored to the needs and psychophysical condition of the inmate. In the situation when infected person is at the same time drug addicted and requires detoxification, he or she is directed to detoxification hospital unit. Most of infected prisoners are placed in therapeutic units for convicts, intoxicants, and psychotropic addicted not because of their infection, but drug addiction. Detention centers and correctional facilities implement the substitution program for the person deprived of liberty in penitentiary units in Poland, which enables substitution treatment in every penitentiary unit. This treatment involves the use of medical products or substituted narcotics with agonist effects on opioid receptors to improve the somatic and mental condition of the patients, support their social reintegration, and limit the spread of infections, particularly HIV, hepatitis C virus, and tuberculosis. Participants in external substitution program who, due to legal conflicts, are placed in penitentiary units continue their substitution treatment. A physician in the prison healthcare facility confirms the individual's participation in an external substitution program by contacting the facility where the treatment were applied to obtain written information on patient's treatment history. During their imprisonment, the patient receives a substitute medication from the prison pharmacy. In 2023, prison healthcare facilities provided substitution treatment to 710 persons. At the end of December 2023, 264 patients were undergoing substitution therapy in penitentiary units. The medication used included methadone, lovomethadone, and buprenorphine. Prisoners are provided with access to the most recent method of AIDS prophylactic antiretroviral therapy, as well as a treatment of opportunistic infections, cancers, and other infectious diseases connected with the HIV infections. At the end of December 2023, 35 patients in penitentiary units were receiving simultaneously antiretroviral and substitution treatment. The prison healthcare system implements the government health policy program titled Antiretroviral Treatment for People Living with HIV, with the module DAA treatment of chronic hepatitis C in patients incarcerated in penitentiary units for the years 2022-2026. This program ensures that individuals deprived of liberty living with HIV have access to diagnostic and treatment equivalent to all available to all citizens. Additionally, the introduction of the DAA treatment module for chronic hepatitis C has enabled incarcerated patients to access diagnostic and treatment on par with those available in the general population. Between January and September this year, as part of the government health policy program titled Antiretroviral Treatment for People Living with HIV in Poland for 2022-2026, treatment was provided to 202 incarcerated individuals, including 8 newly patients. Furthermore, an agreement was signed between the Ministry of Health, acting through the National AIDS Center, and the Central Prison Service Administration for the implementation of the module under the government health policy program titled DAA Treatment from Chronic Hepatitis C in patients incarcerated in penitentiary units. In close collaboration with National AIDS Center, diagnostic and treatment for chronic hepatitis C patients are carried out. To date, 250 incarcerated patients have received DAA treatment. The preventive and curative measures discussed above are closely linked to the management of drug-addicted prisoners, eliminating the supply of drug into prisons, dealing with drug abuse through identifying drug misusers, monitoring and research on drug issues, and the provision of the prison staff training. Saying that, I would like to wish to all the participants substantive and fruitful discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now I guess we have a picture about where we are with the harm reduction and the drug policy in Poland. And on behalf of the community, and again, echoing the question on harm reduction in prison and harm reduction connection between the freedom and prison with the harm reduction, I will give the floor to Oleksii Zagrebelnyi, community representative and leader of the Eurasian movement for right to health in prison and free zone, leader of the organization Free Zone from Ukraine. Here in the room we have Anna Koshikova from this organization, so if you have further questions you could ask her. And Oleksii will speak to us through video. He couldn't come physically with the Ukrainian delegation. Hope we could hear him. Thanks.
Мене звати Олексій Загребельний, я із України, мені 57 років. 18 років я працюю в народовому секторі і я пройшов шлях від аутріч працівника програми зменшення шкоди до голови правління Євразійського руху за право на здоров'я в тюрмах Східної Європи, Центральної Азії. Я дуже радий, що сьогодні в регіоні відбувається подібна зустріч, бо від проведення таких заходів залежить життя і здоров'я багатьох людей. Історія мого життя може пояснити мою впевненість в цьому. Бо 38 років я вживаю наркотики. І 11 років я відбував різного роду вироки, пов'язані з їх нелегальним обігом. Мій перший конфлікт законів стався в часи Радянського Союзу. І був пов'язаний із зберіганням незначного обсягу наркотику в особистих цілях. І незважаючи на те, що Україна впевнено крокує в напрямку євроінтеграції, за ті ж самі дії сьогодні я можу отримати покарання навіть суворіше, ніж у далекому 1989 році. При формальній відсутності статті в Кримінальному кодексі в Україні, по суті, криміналізовано вживання наркотиків. Бо за зберігання або виготовлення незначної кількості наркотичних речовин настає кримінальна відповідальність. І люди, замість того, щоб отримати адекватну та потрібну соціальну або медичну допомогу, дуже часто опиняються в тюрмах. Мені добре знайоме те відчуття, коли кожного разу, виходячи з дому, я був готовий до того, що сьогодні не повернусь. Бо проведу наступні декілька років життя в тюрмі. Саме це відчуття з роками сформувало в мені соціальну модель поведінки. Бо саме життя під прицілом кожного дня примушує тебе уникати будь-яких контактів з зовнішнім світом. І через це представники соціальних служб, медики, поліція сприймаються як потенційна загроза. Хоча їх основне призначення – це захист та допомога людям. За своє несподівано довге для мене життя я неодноразово був свідком або безпосереднім учасником подій, коли набутий рефлекс заперечувати за будь-яких обставин те, що ти вживаєш наркотики, був сильнішим за інстинкт самозбереження. Я гадаю, що всім присутнім добре відомі ті випадки, коли люди, які вживають наркотики, вмирали від передозувань, бо боялися, що разом з швидкою приїде поліція, вмирали від абсцесів, флегмон, сепсисів, або вмирали від несвоєчасно початого лікування ВІЛ, туберкульозу або вірусного гепатиту. Мені щастило в житті не раз. Але однією з знакових подій в моєму житті я вважаю те, що в Україні 25 років тому з'явилися перші програми зменшення шкоди. З того часу я продукт зменшення шкоди. Я цієї філософії, не переконаний, що це працює. Для того, щоб змінити ситуацію і зробити так, щоб люди, які вживають наркотики, зверталися за медичною допомогою та життєво необхідними послугами, державі не треба нічого вигадувати. Бо є зменшення шкоди. Це гра, в яку грають вдвох, бо ніхто не може змінити ставлення людей, які вживають наркотики до держави, окрім самої держави. Попри війну, в Україні не втратили актуальність програми зменшення шкоди. А навпаки, набирають обертів, і, зокрема, в пенітенціарному секторі стався своєрідний прорив. На сьогодні більше 300 засуджених отримують препарати замісної терапії. В 4 основних виконаннях покарань розпочалися програми обміну шприців. Я пишаюсь нашою взаємодією з Національною поліцією України, бо питання забезпечення безперервності, лікування та життєво необхідних послуг людей, які вживають наркотикам, є предметом нашої співпраці та партнерства. Я впевнений, що представникам країни, які беруть участь в цій зустрічі, буде чим поділитися. І обмін позитивним досвідом стане гарною традицією. В контексті останніх подій, пов'язаних з війною, яка триває вже багато років в Україні, всім нам точно не потрібна ще одна війна. Війна з наркотиками. Бо вона також забирає життя та здоров'я багатьох людей.